I want to be sexist here. All right, we're going live on YouTube, and welcome everybody. We're here for uh, conscious communication and A Course in Miracles. And uh, tonight I was wanting to talk about gratitude and nonviolent communication and gratitude, which is something that Marshall Rosenberg talks about quite a bit. What is going on here? Okay, yeah, Marshall Rosenberg talks about this, and it is very different. Okay, this is going to require some listening and reflecting, and then we'll discuss uh, what what he's really saying here about gratitude and expressing gratitude. Uh, so let us get this. Let me see. I'm going to do this real quick first so that we
Oh,
can.
can I just ask, will she be doing another one with Bob?
Yes, on Wednesday.
Oh, could you send me, do I have the link? Did you send me the link?
It's in the
Yep.
schedule. The link is in the schedule. And yes, it's on Wednesday morning, Wednesday at noon Eastern time. So uh it's and we'll see what happens this Wednesday. But I got to figure out a way that I can record if he's using his own Zoom. And I can just record the audio, and I probably will do that. But I wish, I could do the whole thing, but he wants to have his own Zoom. So I am not going to step into that. All right.
You want to take away his Zoom from him?
No.
It reminds me of the Betty Boop. You can't take my boop.
Yeah.
Don't take my boop.
Oh, take my hope. um, let's
I'm
see.
sorry, I'm kidding.
All right, I'm gonna start with a song and welcome everybody. A song by Joshua Caddison called "Gratitude," and then Marshall Rosenberg is going to be talking about gratitude. So here we go.
I hope you find what you're looking for. I hope you get all you desire. I hope that all your dreams come true. I hope they all lift you higher. Now all the visions I once had of the way our lives would be, I can offer up at last to the beauty that I see. So please forgive me, please forgive me for thinking that I ever had the secret to your holy mystery. Please forgive me, please forgive me for thinking that I ever had the secret to your holy mystery. And can you feel my gratitude? Can you feel my gratitude? Can you feel my gratitude? Can you feel my gratitude for you? Can you feel my gratitude? Feel it running deep, feel it running true. Can you feel my gratitude? Can you feel my gratitude for you? Can you feel my gratitude for you? It's such an esoteric word, the way you finally said goodbye. Took so long for me to hear, through the noise of wondering why, till I had no place left to run, and I finally had to face what was really only me, imagining my fall from grace. So please forgive me, please forgive me for thinking that I ever had the secret to your holy mystery. Please forgive me, please forgive me for thinking that I ever had the secret to your holy mystery. And can you feel my gratitude? Can you feel my gratitude? Can you feel my gratitude? Can you feel my gratitude for you? Can you feel my gratitude? Feel it running deep, feel it running true. Can you feel my gratitude? Can you feel my gratitude for you? Can you feel my gratitude for you? Feel my gratitude for you.
We have left deal with a very important part of giraffe, because I wouldn't want you to get the idea that nonviolent communication is solely interested in conflict resolution, because it's equally interested in celebration. How can we celebrate life? In fact, the part that I've left for 10 minutes before the end is, in some respects, the most important part, because it's where we get the fuel to stay giraffe in what's often a very jackalish world. See? So it's going to be pretty hard to make this radical transformation into back to our nature in many situations unless we're getting plenty of fuel. Now, where does the fuel come from? The fuel comes from celebration. And what kind of celebration? It comes from saying thank you in giraffe. So let's see now in the last minutes how we celebrate by saying thank you in giraffe, expressing gratitude in giraffe. And first, I'd like to remind you of how jackals say thank you. You did a good job on that paper. You are a very kind person. You're a good dancer. Can you see why that's jackal? Moralistic judgments. Positive moralistic judgments are equally as violent in my estimation as negative ones. Namely, they reinforce the idea that the negative exists. If I say you're a kind person, I'm implying there's such a thing as an unkind person. I'm also implying that I'm the judge that knows the difference. So no more praise or compliments, okay? No more praise or compliments. Especially when you intend them as a reward. That's the ultimate dehumanization, to use thank you as a reward. To say it for the purpose of trying to reinforce something, to get the person to continue doing it. It's like sending what goes on at dog obedience school? See? Punishment and reward, see? So giving a compliment or praise for the purpose of reinforcement is giving the dog something to eat to reinforce it for something. Well, people are not for that treatment. And it destroys the beauty of thank you. When people have to wonder, is this being said out of that energy? But it works. What does jackal? Studies in management indicate that if managers praise and compliment employees daily, production goes up. Studies in school show that if teachers praise and compliment students daily, they work harder. Jackal, take another look at the research. I think you'll see that that only works for a very short time, until people see the manipulation. And then it no longer works. And it destroys the beauty of thank you, because now you cannot even trust gratitude without wondering whether it's being used as a reinforcement, as a reward. Well, what about if I want to build up the other person's self-esteem? What's wrong with that? So, Jackal, you don't see the irony of that? What? If the other person can only like themselves when you compliment them, they have no self-esteem. You've just addicted them to your rewards. That they only feel good when you say something about them. They have no self-esteem. Okay. How does a giraffe say thank you? Or gratitude? First, there's three things that are involved in a giraffe expression of gratitude that give us energy to keep being a giraffe. See, the first thing in a giraffe expression of gratitude is we bring to this other person's attention concretely what they have done that has made life more wonderful for us. See, that's what we need to do daily. We need to bring our consciousness and attention to the power that each one of us has to make life more wonderful. Each of us is a powerhouse. We have words that have the power to contribute to making people's lives more wonderful. We have touch. We can touch people in ways that can make life more wonderful. We can provide services for people. We are powerhouses. The more we remember this, we'll not get caught up in any violent games. Why would we use our energy any way other than to make life wonderful when we remember that we have this power? So that's one thing we got to make clear in our expression of gratitude. Specifically what the person did, not some vague generality. For example, a woman in Geneva, Switzerland came up to me at the end of a workshop. Here's what she said to me. "You're brilliant." I said, "It doesn't help." She said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You know, ma'am, I have been called a lot of names in my life. Really, I have. Some positive and some far less than positive. And I can never recall learning anything valuable by somebody telling me what I am. I think there's zero information value in being told what you are. And great danger, you might believe it. And it's just as dangerous to believe that you're smart as that you're stupid. Both of them reduce you to a thing. You see, we're much more than either of those. But I can see in your eyes that you want to express some gratitude. Yes, and I want to receive it, but it doesn't help me to be told what I am. Well, what do you need to hear? What did I do to make life more wonderful for you? Well, you're so intelligent. No, it doesn't help. Doesn't help. What did I do? Oh, I got you. She opens up her notebook. She showed me two things that I had said that she had written down. She put a big star by them. See, that helps me now. Okay, that helps me to know that somehow my saying those two things made this person's life more wonderful. So that's the first thing we need to say in appreciation. We need to bring to the person's attention concretely what they did that made life more wonderful. Second, at the moment we're giving the gratitude, to say how we feel at that moment about the person having done that. So I said to this woman, "Could you tell me how you feel now as a result of my having said those two things?" She said, "Hopeful and relieved." Oh, hopeful and relieved. That gives me much more than telling me what I am, that I'm brilliant. Just to know that somehow my saying those two things, now this person feels hopeful and relieved. Now when I hear the third thing, I'll be able to really enjoy this gratitude. I said, what need of yours was fulfilled by my saying what I did that leaves you feeling hopeful and relieved? And that's the third thing we need to see in a giraffe gratitude. She said, "I have an 18-year-old son. I've never been able to connect with him. It's been very painful that we never can connect, and I have needed some direction to help me connect with him." Those two things you said met my need for some concrete direction. So, had she expressed her gratitude in giraffe, she would have said, "Marshall, when you said these two things," showed me what the two things were, "it leaves me feeling hopeful and relieved. It meets a need of mine to connect with my son in a way that I want. Okay? That's how we say gratitude in giraffe, those three things. And it's also important how we receive gratitude. Let me show you how a jackal receives gratitude. Jackal, when you offered to give me the ride just now over to where I'm going afterwards, I feel very grateful because I really have a need to spend more time with my family. And if I took the bus, I'd have an hour less time. It's nothing. De rien. See? If you want to terrorize a jackal, express love or appreciation to it. Really, if you really want to scare a jackal. I've never seen anything scare jackals speaking people more than sincere gratitude or love. Why do you get so nervous, jackal, when you hear it? Well, I don't know that I deserved it. See, jackals have this dangerous concept in their head, deserve. It's a very violent concept. See, it implies that you have to deserve appreciation. You do deserve punishment if you behave in a certain way. See, the concept of deserve is a key ingredient in a violent way of life. If you believe in deserve, you think certain things are worth things, and you'll set up a very destructive economic system. You'll set up a destructive correctional system. A very dangerous concept. Well, that's not the only reason. Why else do you get so scared when you hear gratitude, Jackal? What's wrong with being humble? So you want to have a need for humility? Yes. Well, you know, Jackal, there's different kinds of humility. I'm afraid that your kind is a jackal humility. I think your kind is the kind that Golda Meir, the Israeli prime minister, was reacting to when she said to one of her politicians, "Don't be so humble, you're not that great." But the main reason that I believe that gratitude is so scary for many of us to receive is beautifully and poetically written in A Course in Miracles, where they say it's our light, not our darkness, that scares us the most. See, having been educated in this jackal way to hate ourselves, to think there's something wrong with us, it's a big jump to really see what I was saying, that we have enormous power to make life wonderful. And there's nothing we enjoy doing more than exercising that power. That's unfortunately, a pretty big jump for us to come to, but we can come to it. So that's how we say gratitude: observation, feeling in need, same literacy. Make sure it's coming from the heart to celebrate, and never to praise, compliment, reward. So any last comments or questions before our time runs out?
All right. So, what do you think? Is there anything different the way that we've learned how to express gratitude and what Marshall just explained to us? Seriously, when you think about it, I know for me, I do go through that when people are, oh, Lynn, you're so great. I love you, and you're such a great person. I'm like suspicious. Not because I don't trust you and trust that I'm lovable, but when you come with the thing that says, Lynn, when you did this or said this, I felt this, and it really met my need for to feel safe or to feel loved or whatever your need is. Because what are we doing here if you're doing favors, doing things for people because you want to really meet their needs? And when our needs are really met and we express and experience true gratitude, then as he said, that's when you can celebrate. Yay. Now I know what I'm doing right. Now I know what is helpful to other people. Now I know what makes me feel good. I don't have to guess at it anymore. It just is clear to me. This is what I do that helps you, makes you happy. And when you tell me when I tell you what you do that helps me and makes me feel good and happy, you feel good and happy too because you know you have you have done something real for me, not just told me what a great person I was and went off going, I'm sure she's happy I came. Not so much. Mickey, yeah, please go ahead.
Oh, I just, it was
Kaylee, I'm sorry.
beautiful. I just want to say I really love the class, and I needed to hear this today because on gratitude, all day long, every hour while I was at work, I was reflecting back on what I was grateful for. And I just right now had a miracle. I had two miracles. The second miracle is that your class is on, and I'm so grateful to Lynn for you for doing this and for everyone here. And it's really incredible. And the first thing is I drove from work in my car, and I it started fine, and then I had to go to True Value and get something, a hardware store, and then I pulled in the garage, and the car won't go out of gear, so I can't put the car in park, and it won't start. So it got me all the way home inside the garage and safe. And so when he was talking about celebration, I right away wrote in my gratefulness journal how grateful, because I wanted to remember this experience. And so all things are lessons that God would have me learn. So I all day long every hour was reflecting back on what I was grateful for. And life protected me in the dream, and it got me inside the garage, and I'm home. Unbelievable. Thank you.
You're muted, Lenny.
Yeah, Lily, we didn't hear you.
Oh, well, I was saying profound things that you'll never hear again in the rest of your life. I just told you the whole meaning of life and salvation is done. So no, I just was I was saying I'm grateful. I'm grateful to your car, that your car got you home and safe and I love that story. It's beautiful, Michaela, and I appreciate you so much. Uh, because you so willingly share your life experiences and you're willing to see what is the good thing about what's happening. And I'm really grateful to hear that, you're not, you know telling me a sob story about your car. I love that. So beautiful. Thank you, Michaela. Rafi, please go ahead.
Yeah, every morning and every night, I go over a list of all the things that I'm grateful for. And I make sure I do it every day, twice, at least twice a day. And during the day, when I set an intention for something and it manifests, I'm also express gratitude. But I'm expressing gratitude to the divine presence that makes sure I'm divinely provided for, divinely guided, divinely protected, and that divine love is a reality. And that's puts me in touch with that. The power of gratitude is incalculable anyway. But when I do something for somebody else, even if it's only like giving a couple of dollars to somebody that's standing on a street corner with a sign saying, I'm hungry, I never give it any thought. I just hand them the money and go. And if somebody thanks me for something, I just make sure I do the civil, courteous thing by saying, You're welcome, but I'm not looking for anything back. I have no attachment to the outcome. And if you have an attachment to, if I have an attachment to the outcome, then there's egoity behind it. And that isn't pure love. And pure love is what we really are. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Is going on with this muting? I didn't I didn't mean to mute myself again. And yeah, that is, I mean, to be grateful to the divine for what we are and what we have, for our daily life, for everything. Um, you know, as wonderful as it is, and I absolutely do it myself, it's kind of redundant. It's because God already knows that He's given me everything, and that there's nothing, God already knows He loves me beyond anything. And so, you know, I I think part of the reason that I don't experience myself as being loved as much as I am is because I am not specifically grateful for what I have, for what I'm given, for my life, for my life. That's all. So, remembering, and I love the way that Marshall puts it, because to give us that the three steps there, the observation, this is what I experience, this is what I'm experiencing, the feeling that I have about it, how I'm feeling about it, um, what's happening, and then the need that's being met by whatever is happening. Those are three components of gratitude that can bring me to a place of wholly accepting and wholly gratitude for what it is, because I have looked at it, I have evaluated it, seen uh, what good it is for me, or what the positive is for me, and I'm clearly able to say thank you, and have true gratitude, because I feel fulfilled. I feel fulfilled because I feel the love of God within me now, as the lesson says. And I think that's a lot of folks, and me, until I started realizing this, we're not feeling the love of God within us now, because we weren't properly we weren't expressing gratitude. We weren't experiencing gratitude. Just thank God I'm still alive. Thank God I'm not dead. Thank God I have my health. Thank God I have my income. Thank God, that's not gratitude. That is, that's I'm using God for what He's useful to me for. I don't know what I'm saying, but there's a point here. Glorian, please go ahead.
Yeah, I love what you said, Lynn. And I think the point is that, or what I was receiving anyway, is that recognition that in accepting gratitude, we recognize that of myself, I can do nothing, and that only God is good. So the ego has to be out of the way when we recognize true gratitude. And like Marshall was saying, in gratitude, never praise, compliment, or reward. So if we're not praising, complimenting, or rewarding, when we look at that, it's judgment, perception, and ego. And even when he made reference to kind and being unkind, this is all labels. This is not gratitude. This is ego evaluation. So, what was coming to me, Jesus tells us in the Course that gratitude is the highest form of prayer. And the highest form of prayer is the acceptance of what I am. So, if we're asking his question there, what makes life more wonderful? The acceptance of what I am, being an extension of the love of God in this world, and being the joy to extend the joy. To me, that's what he was saying. Thanks.
Thank you, Gloria. And yeah, that was perfect. Yeah, and yes, I so appreciate that you're able to express those concepts so beautifully. and mainly I call it beautiful because I can understand it. So, so it's helpful to me. So thank you, Glorian, for doing that. Please, Brooklyn, go ahead.
Namaste, mighty companions. Wow, I love what he said about holding the course. Our biggest fear isn't that we're small, it's that we're not small. I paraphrase. I, I'm just going to talk about the experience I had on the subway today. And I had to go somewhere, and then coming home, the train wasn't moving, and it was packed. But I fit in there. I'm little. And then they say the power's cut because someone, you know, got pushed on the platform or something. And I was so grateful that I remembered, wait, there's another way to get home. I was so grateful that I was able to move like that, to take the shuttle and take the West Side. And yeah, I know I'm grateful that I'm taken care of no matter what it appears to be. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Brooklyn. And yes, I mean, I think if we don't think we're being taken care of, I think we're just not paying attention. I think we're not noticing the way that we are being taken care of. And I do appreciate the idea of using the specific thing. Yes. I can get home. Um, there are other ways, and thank God I'm quick-witted, and I can think of this, and I could do these things, and I know this thing. These are these are real uh, things to be grateful for, because it is our state. It's the truth of what we are. Our state is being cared for. I mean, we come into this world from a place where we were perfectly cared for, and whatever happens to us when we come into this world, uh, depends. I guess I was thinking about. Not, I don't want to get too far into it because she's not here right now. Is she coming in? I might talk about this anyway. Mickey was talking the other day about when she was born. She was 2 months premature, and she was put into a uh, what incubator. So she was in a glass box for the first 2 months of her life, and she remembers that. And in her memories, she's trapped in a box, and I mean, this was a really really interesting uh, opening that she went through the other day with Sandy Levy Lunding. Uh, but from her point of view, being a baby, not being able to be held by her mother, not having that contact, not having all that different stuff, from her point of view, from her perception, was that she was abandoned, and not loved and not cared for. And yet, the whole purpose of even putting her in the box and doing all the things that they did was because they were taking care of her and were helping her. And back in this was back in 1950. Back in 1950, being a premature baby was that much premature was almost a death sentence. So, they were doing everything they could to keep her alive. But she didn't know that. And so when we shift our perception and see the different point of view that, in fact, I was not abandoned, I was not left out, I was, cared for perfectly, except in my own, experience. Uh, but you can be grateful. I mean, that's why she's here. Otherwise, she would not have survived. So, you can be grateful for that and not believe that there's something wrong with you. And I love that whole session was so wonderful. And I am sad that it was lost and we didn't keep the recording or have a recording of it. But we'll figure that out. in the future as well. But I don't know. Does anybody have any thoughts about that? Times when you thought you were being tortured and in reality you were being loved. Um, yeah, Rafi, please go ahead.
When I was young, both my parents worked two jobs. So I come home from school every day into an empty house. Fortunately, we had a dog, so that was my best friend. And but I always felt like I was alone until I got a little older, and then I realized how much my parents trusted me to take care of myself, and how much freedom I had to explore, to investigate, to play, to do this. And I was talk about grateful. When I turned it around, I went, "Whoa, look at this." And then I realized, and I took a look at my childhood when I was growing up, and all the stuff that other people said that their parents did, and and I didn't do anything. And I realized every single moment I was being totally cared for. I was being totally cared for. It was just, even though it didn't look like it on the surface, because there wasn't time for gushy. There wasn't time. They were too busy working, but they made sure we all had everything we needed. And that when family dinners were family dinners, and we were all there to share everything together, and that no matter what was going on, we were a unit that could not be divided anyhow. And when I look back at all of that, I think how blessed, realized how blessed I was. And I look back, and every moment that we go through this dream has been specifically orchestrated for in my best interest, for my well-being. And I look back, there was proof of it, and there is continued proof of it, even now, well into my 80s. That never has been a time when that hasn't happened. And you want to talk about a reason to be grateful? Hello.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, this is, when we start looking at these things and, stop thinking we were neglected and abused and realize that we were really trusted and loved. I mean, that's a completely different shift. And the freedom that came with it. I love that, Rafi. Thank you for telling us that. McKaylee, please go ahead. And I saw Sharon had her hand up earlier too. Go ahead, McKaylee.
Okay. Thank you, Rafi. That was a beautiful sharing. I wanted to comment, Lynn, on you were talking about Mickey and being premature and that, and seeing the healing part of it. And that was really beautiful. I was able to listen to that session with Mickey and Sandra Levy, and that was a wonderful session and a healing session. And I just want to say that my mom's sister, Ursula, in the war during World War II, because she was born premature, and they didn't, like you said, Lynn, they didn't have the equipment, I guess, in the hospitals to, like Nikki was so blessed with. So they lost her, and my grandma said that, told me that she opened one eye and looked at her, it was blue. And she had to bury her and just keep moving forward. So yeah. So thank you for that sharing, Lynn. That's all.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that. Sharon, please go ahead.
Well, I just want to tell you tomorrow I will be in. I was supposed to work, but I had no one to stay with my dog, and I don't leave him for 6 hours. So I'll be in 9:30. That's for you. And the other is, um, Mickey's story just reminded me a little of mine. When I was delivered, my mother had to go to a separate hospital because she was paralyzed from the neck down. So I was put in, I stayed at Jefferson, and she went to this hospital called PGH. On there, she spoke about it a lot. So right away, there's such information out now that if you are, and a lot of people give up their babies, but you don't know that these are imprints in the system. So it's like Jesus says in the Course, have you felt that way before, like you were abandoned? And I had repeatedly had that feeling, and my mind was projecting all of these scenarios of abandonment. Even if my mother was even like, had some mental illness when it came to me, because it really was on a psychological level. She didn't feel like she connected with me, but I was so cared for. My grandmother, who was like, you couldn't get a better person, and she pretty much lived with me until I was 7. And but it's interesting how the egoic mind will hold on to the armor that it puts in you, and if you don't resolve it, it'll keep coming up with pictures of what happened to you. And so I would say that two things, like abandonment was one of them, and also I had repeatedly things with cords, like things around my neck. I don't want to go into that, but I'm just saying the cord was around my neck, and then repeatedly I had different things to, having to do with being suffocated. Now, I've spoken about this in here, but I also had a long time, because I had postpartum depression. And back in those days, the psychologists were trying to tell me that a lot of that was just imprints in me, where I was probably very angry because I didn't smell my mother, whatever. But, all of this was for me. It brought me, there hasn't been one thing that's happened to this mind that hasn't been perfect, but I couldn't say that until I saw the whole picture. And now and I haven't seen the whole picture because it's not over yet, I guess. But the picture that I have now is, but I couldn't really, like, I couldn't say, yeah, it's all for me until I really felt it. Because I think that's one of the things that, because who am I talking to? I'm really talking to myself. I'm not talking to people, I'm talking to projections. So, when I was doing all that, I was not, I guess intuitively I wasn't being guided to just, say, well, yeah, I agree with you. There's nobody here. And that is true for me where I am now. But everything is for us, but to hear it from another, it doesn't work. You've got to come to that, realization, and it only comes exactly at the time it's supposed to. And that's where Brent Haskell comes in when he talks about the script is written. Anyway, that's all. Anyway, remember me, because I'll be in tomorrow at 9:30. Okay, thanks.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sharon. I appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, I know you've talked about that whole situation when you were a baby. And of course, when you think about it, if no one had ever told you that story, what would you have known about any of it? If no one had ever said, yeah, mom went over here, you went over here, you would not know anything about it. If you had, whatever.
Oh, right. It's because you get back, but that's all your projections too.
Right.
Everything is you. So, like, when I look at like, as far as God, we abandoned God. So of course it's a wonderful composition that I had to look at the abandonment, because that's what I felt, separation from my father. So, but that goes into the depths of the deeper part. And it's funny, I sit with the different things that still come up, and I just rest in it, because if you have faith that God is clearing and healing, it does work. So
Yeah.
it's just a matter of just, being, when it's going to happen for everyone. I mean, I'm certainly not done. I could have a lot more come up, but who knows? Anyway, thanks.
Thank you so much, Sharon, for sharing that and reflecting on that, because that's exactly what what we're here to do, and that's becomes so helpful then when you begin to see what really is going on in your mind. That's giving you these ideas that we are abandoned or separate or apart. Let's see, Brooklyn, did you have your hand up before, or I see Glorian has her hand up.
Gloria could go first.
Okay,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
We're so polite. I just wanted to say thank you all for, I really appreciate the authenticity that goes on here. Now that I'm taking the subway again, I'm reading the 4 agreements. And so far I read about, I don't retain things. I read a long time ago, but I forgot. Be impeccable with your word and do not assume. I do not know what anything is for. The courses and everything. And I was talking with my sister-in-law the other night. I'm concerned that I'm losing weight, and so she told me one thing at a time. And that helped me. So I called her up and I thanked her. And she said, what are you thanking me for? I says, you told me one thing at a time. She said, I said that. So yeah, that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Yeah, and that'll encourage her to tell you something else later because she recognizes that you recognize the effort, what she said, that it helped you. So, and that's a need that we all have to be wanted and needed, and believe that what we say and do is helpful to other people. That's a gift to me when I know that something I said or did made you feel better. Uh, it does make me feel better too. Florian, please go ahead.
Yeah, I love what everyone's sharing, and we're really going deep here in stuff. What was coming to me is, all right, so I've listened to all of everyone's story here, and there's a different manifestation of fear. But if we look at it, the underlying thing is abandonment, feeling left out, which is what? Separation. So if we go back to the course where Jesus tells us all things are lessons God would have me learn, what is that lesson? That I'm not a body, that I'm spirit. I can never be separate from what I am. So that we recognize that I'm perfectly safe, perfectly cared for, and it's just how I was created, and I never can be separate and apart from that. So all of this story stuff, I see only the past, whatever it is, it's all the same thing. And we all in some form manifest it because fear and guilt is separation. And there's that one ego. Let's remember, one ego, one Christ mind. So it's just looking like it's different forms, but it's the same thing. We feel separate from God. And the lesson here in the classroom of seeming life is to remember how I was created, and I'm spirit. So if I'm accepting myself as spirit, I'm trusting what I am, and I'm healing that false sense of separation, the tiny mad idea. Thanks.
Thank you, Florian. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So it's the healing of the mind that really is the only thing that's. I'm losing my voice. I keep trying, but it's. I don't know why my throat is very sore, and so it must be allergies. Is what I think. So anyway, everybody else can talk. Rafi, please go ahead.
I'm sending your voice a lot of love.
Thank you.
Lester Levinson used to say the two biggest fears we have is the fear of dying and the fear of separation. And that's because we identify as this individual I, which is separate from our source, which is, of course, impossible. That individual I is an ego concept. There's no reality to it. This here, this little action figure, is here. It's serving. It's just a projection, a mental projection. It's here to do a job. It isn't here at all. That's the paradox that makes it true. And the best thing I can do is to get a hold of the fear of dying and let it go, and get a hold of the fear of separation and let it go, because they all come up to leave anyway, and keep welcoming them and let them go. I do it every day. And as a result, the peace that is the truth that we are is always evident. The quiet is always there. And I don't have to go looking for it because it doesn't come and go. It is the reality. And again, bring up the fear of dying, let it go. Bring up the fear of separation, let it go. They're just feelings. They aren't facts. The individual I that is generating all that isn't a fact either. It's just an ego concept. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So clear. And Bob says, we are the idea of God, and as such cannot be separate from our source. And ego is the Greek word translated into English as I. And yeah, that's the one that Freud actually brought into our regular conversation. Um, but it's not the I that I am, obviously. It's the I that I think I am. So thank you for posting that. Anybody else have any thoughts? Anything they'd like to share? Yes, a separate I. I'm just putting essential oils on my throat, in case you're wondering what I'm putting on here. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all the healing. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it, guys. Oh my goodness. Anybody else have anything that they'd like to share? We have a few more minutes. Don't forget that, yeah, Wednesday morning or Wednesday at noon, Sandy will be back. She has contacted me and asked me to make sure that I record. So I will figure out how I can record as well. And maybe it just might be a sound recording, and that's fine as well. I definitely can record by sound. But the Zoom recording, of course, would have all uh, the the chat and everything that goes with it. So, Rafi, please go ahead.
In regard to gratitude, very grateful for my guardian angel keeping me on track. Very grateful for Dharma keeping me on track. Very grateful for this holy company keeping me on track. It's constant. And if I look away from it, something will pull me right back to it. And that something that pulls me back is the truth of what I am. This infinite universal love. I don't know how I put this universe here, but I know I put it here for my benefit. And what kind of power I have I was able to do that? Woo, incalculable.
Yeah, because we're just all connected. Those angels, we are those angels. The whole spirit of Christ is everywhere with us in everything, and we are it. So thank you for that, Rafi. Anybody else have anything that they'd like to share? Yes, there's nothing your holiness cannot do. Exactly, the lesson 38. Glory and yes, please.
I like what you just said. We are it. It is all there is.
Yep.
God is, I am. Thanks.
All right, you guys. Yeah, Brooklyn.
I'm grateful for us.
Me too, honey. Me too. Grateful for my life. Grateful for my life, everything about it, everything that happens, everything that has happened. I know that it's just so perfect and beautiful, and the gifts are incalculable. You can never, ever, ever be grateful for everything that we've received, because it's everything.
Everything is working toward our ultimate good.
That's right.
Everything.
That's it. Everything. All right, you guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close this off. I'm going to go drink some hot tea before my next meeting. So I love you guys. And we
Love
will
us so much.
see us all in the morning, and Sharon will be here. So yay. Yep. Lesson 40. You're coming up on it there. Lesson 40. I am blessed as a son of God. That's my birthday lesson. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm going to close this out.